Northwood Stadium in St. Paul, Minnesota is our destination as we look to finish off our SFL Super Sunday in Week 7 with a good nightcap between two sides relatively similar in their season trajectories, both above 500. Minnesota looking to continue their 4 straight games undefeated, now back at home. Alongside me this evening is the now familiar voice of Alex West. Alex, these two offenses love to throw the ball around. What are you looking forward to in this contest?
Well, it's really going to be a story of ball security. Yes, both teams are absolutely looking to throw the football, but Eric Price for the Queen City Corsairs has had an upside down ratio. He has thrown 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and meanwhile, Johnny Reno has 9, for the Minnesota Legend, has 9 touchdowns to 6. So really it's a question of which of these two quarterbacks is going to be able to keep the ball in the hands of the right jerseys.
Absolutely. Minnesota in a familiar grey and teal look, and Queen City in their road white, black and green. The Legend will receive, and we are underway. Joe Garfield sends it back to the back of the end zone, and it's returned by, here's Deezer Powell, Queg Mam rather, up to about a 25, and the Legend will take over. This Legend offense led out by quarterback Johnny Reno, the backs Isaac Knox, Colin Hart, and Justin Williams, the receivers Queg Mam, Deezer Powell, Tita Queen, Jay Taylor, Robert Henson Jr. and Jason France to the offensive line after this play. Single back is Hart off to the side, 3 wide for Reno to throw to. It'll be flipped to that side. In fact, that's not Colin Hart, that's Queg Mam, who has had some backfield utilization over the last few weeks. That offensive line for Minnesota: Brookie Burr, Axel Raven, Ruthie Raven, Dusty Wilson, and Trey Hyman, the sophomore center, anchoring that line. Run up the middle for Hart, and he's jammed up. Good tackle at the line of scrimmage by Anthony Wyo, and that will give Minnesota a 3rd and short.
They really definitely want to make sure they get this conversion here to get started on the right foot. Never want to have the first drive end in a punt.
Heavy set here for Reno. He's going to throw out of it, flips it to the backfield. That's caught for a first down by Colin Hart, downed again by Anthony Wyo, but the 5 yards is enough to keep the drive alive.
And that's just a simple halfback leaking out into the flat, simple check down route. It's not a hard throw to make. Johnny Reno is playing well within his means and knows he doesn't need to throw the home run ball. He just needs to get a few yards to keep the chains moving.
Fresh set of downs for Reno. Drops back and he's sacked in the backfield. Early start for the Corsairs, and it's the corner, Ted Haynes, in on the sack. The rest of that defense for Queen City: Deterion Darshington, the rookie, Chad Stinson and Emmanuel Petrilla make up the line. Casper Haddock and Kappa Jones, along with Luke Swift, Morgan Brown and Wolf Highwind, make up the linebackers. Brandon Ewing, Justin Reside, the aforementioned Ted Haynes and Anthony Wyo, the corners. Alex Marshall and GB Wallace are your corners. Motion's going to make this an empty set for Reno. 5 wide with Hart on the far side. Reno with a deep drop back. Launches. It's too big. Over everyone's heads was looking for Jay Taylor. Couldn't find him, and it's 3rd and long.
Just a bit too much mustard on that one. He's trying to make sure he doesn't put that where the cornerback can try and pick that one off, but you kind of want to maybe see if he can loft that one instead of throwing a bullet downfield.
Reno again with 5 wide, 3 to his right, 2 to his left. Queen City play their corners deep. Reno, he's going to run it himself, and he's not going to get anywhere near the first down marker. Good tackle. Met early by Kappa Jones, and that's going to kill the drive.
That's a very quick decision there to scramble. I don't know if I like that one. The pocket was still intact whenever he started to bring it up. He was well behind his own line.
Mini Malillo to send this one away, and it's fair caught at the 15, and Queen City will take over from that point, I should say. And that offense for Queen City consists of the quarterback Eric Price, the backs William McDowell and Jet Zero, Tony Zoma, the fullback receivers Adrian Ellis, Xavier Knight, Fox Irwin, Joseph Bordeaux, and Bob Wood, the tight ends. Arnold Packer, James Matthew Jr., the elite tight end, and Abad Ruiz, the lone guard, is Robert Cron. Three wide, plus a tight end here for Price to start off. He drops back, got protection from Zero, zips it downfield. That's caught for a big opening play. Connects with Knight for a big first down.
And that's just what you want to start off with if you're Queen City. You want to get your guys in rhythm. You want to make it very effective passing plays that get good yardage. You don't want to only limit yourself to dink and dunk plays just to get everyone in rhythm. You want to try to take a few shots.
Check that was Joseph Bourdais in his first season with the Corsairs, former Sioux Falls Sparrow and Jacksonville King for that matter. Three wide here for Price. Drops back, delayed handoff to Zero, and that's going to be dumped behind the line of scrimmage. Minnesota gets a hold early. And Alex, these two rushing attacks, they're a bit of a contrast stark to the passing attack. The Corsairs are 22nd overall in rushing attack this season by average yardage. And so it's 21st. Price on second down, looks deep. That's caught! And look out! He is gone! Nobody will catch Bob Wood, and he will take that all the way to a house. A zip from Eric Price, and Queen City strikes early.
And that's a beautiful route run by the young man who's able to just go up, just run a straight go route, and he beats his man. There's no safety coverage over the top. The safety is busy trying to make a play there. He just completely outruns him. That's one of those that goes for the long ball, and that's why you take those shots, because they can pay off.
Adrian Blaine was the only one back there, and Bob Wood slipped through, and it was a great pass from Eric Price. And the Corsairs straight away take the early advantage. The extra point from Joe Garfield is up and good. And that caps off only a 3-play drive that spanned a minute. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sidelines and start your play today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the join the community button and begin your career, or just meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. Intriguing start here, and that kickoff is not returned by Queg Mam, and Minnesota will trot it out to the 20.
Right decision there. I mean, obviously, but at the same time, we've seen Queg Mam take some kickoffs and break them off for huge gains. That one's just too deep in the end zone.
See how Minnesota respond. They again trot out this 5-wide look with an empty backfield on first down. And in motion is Dinza Powell. 4-1 defense from Queen City. Price zips it, and that's caught. Check, that was Reno on the throw, and he's found Quig Mam for a first down.
And Johnny Reno is having the bright light shine on him now. He's got to answer back after a massive 66-yard pass that goes for a touchdown from Eric Price. You've got to count on your guy to lead a drive that can answer back. You don't want to go down 7-0 and then punt on top of it.
Reno with Hart in the backfield. They've got the start they needed. Reno's going to drop back again. Zips it. That's caught for a first down. Found Powell. And that's about 14.
Johnny getting into rhythm. He's now got 3 completions on the day. He's got them moving the ball down the field effectively. That's a simple route. It's a simple you go out 10 yards and you curl in. It looks like they're playing some zone defense, and he's finding the soft spots.
Powell saw that the corner would play back enough and just ran a little curl, and that was enough for him to be wide open. Toss play to the outside. That picks up a single yard. Tackle made by Ted Haynes, rather. And this rushing attack early has been stifled. It's been the passing units that, as we kind of expected, have really lifted off. Justin Williams is the lone back. Reno drops back, zips it. That's incomplete. Was looking for Williams, but it's deflected away by Kappa Jones, and it'll be 3rd and long.
And that's a tough catch to make. You still want to make that as a receiver. You still want your guy to make that as the quarterback, but let's be honest, that's right in the teeth of the defense. That's not even behind the linebackers. That's right in front of them.
Bunch to Reno's left. He's going to roll out the opposite direction. Zips it across. That's incomplete. Was looking for one of his wideouts. It was T to Queen. Couldn't find it. And that's another 3 and out for this Queen City defense.
It doesn't feel great to see that kind of result on the passing play, but something that just still caught my eye that I've got to talk about for a second. Queen Mam playing out of position as the running back, doing a great job in the pass protection block on that play.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times already, Quagman being used in as a running back, and that punt is another decent one for Minnie Malillo, fielded by the touchdown scorer, in fact, Bob Wood, at the Queen City 19, and that's where the Corsairs will take over. They needed 3 plays on the previous possession to take it all away.
Interested to see if they remain aggressive or if they just try to run it.
Price this time again, zips it. That's incomplete. Plenty of coverage surrounded Adrian Ellis, and he couldn't reel that one in.
Felt like that pass was a little bit rushed there. Those routes looked like they were all going to be going a bit downfield. Kind of wonder if maybe if you leave a little bit more time to develop, if somebody gets open.
Here he goes again. 2nd down. Got the bunch out to his right. Price zips it. That's somehow caught by Adrian Ellis. Did well falling over to make the play. And brings up 3rd and 5.
Tough catch. Fancy decision there and kind of creative. He decides, you know what? I'm going to put myself between the ball and the turf. We'll go that way.
3 wide on 3rd down. Motion Ellis from right to left. He's had the last 2 targets. Price drops back. Pressure all over him. He got it out, but the lineman that was laying the pressure in got the deflection. And it's a quick 3 and out.
And I guess that's kind of emblematic of why maybe earlier in this drive we saw Eric Price make that throw so fast on some of those long developing routes. With only one fully developed lineman for Queen City, you gotta wonder if maybe they're going to struggle somewhat, and that's also the source of their rushing attack woes.
That was Derek Meerkat that got that deflection. The punt from Ian Deegan flies away, and that's fielded by Mam. And Minnesota will try and take over. They haven't yet found their groove properly, Alex, but perhaps this is the drive. You sort of feel like they'll keep with the same game plan, and maybe this is the possession that will start to see things fall into place.
Mm-hmm. And if you take away those couple of big plays that Queen City has, if you just look at the micro games, Minnesota's definitely winning the field position battle at current, and they don't have a long field that they have to get through.
Nice pass from Reno on a grab. Downfield, he's found Jay Taylor for a big first down, reeled it in with one hand. And that is an early candidate for your nice hands catch of the game, presented by Retroid. Get your Retroid Pocket 3 Plus at GoRetroid.com and play the only game with your player in it. GoRetroid.com. And Jay Taylor with an early strike from Johnny Reno. And now Minnesota are firmly on the move. Reno rolls out, good protection. Another one, back-to-back one-handed grabs. Plucked out of thin air by Deezer Powell.
And that's just a great catch. That seems like it's simplifying it, but he's really running in between. He's got the safety over the top. He's got more deep coverage above him. He knows he's going to get hit when this ball comes his way. Doesn't matter. He lays himself out, reaches, gets it with one hand, and maintains possession through contact.
Did the ad breed too early. That one was possibly even better than the one from Taylor. That carry from Hart settles things down for a gain of 5.
And that's a very workmanlike run, but that's what you want out of the running game, and they haven't gotten that all the time, Minnesota. They kind of struggled on their getting consistently 3 or more yards per carry.
Reno, handoff outside. That's Isaac Knox, the rookie. He picks up 4.5. 2 straight good carries from this Minnesota rushing offense and gives him 3rd and short.
And Isaac Knox is what a large running back, 6'3", 235 pounds. That fella's big. You must wonder what they're feeding him.
Unbelievable. He's a bruising runner as well. Speaking of which, Justin Williams up the middle. He rolls forward, picks up a first down, and now they've got goal to go.
And that's what an impressive passing attack of both long and medium and short throws will get you. It makes everything in the run game so much easier. Now it's only in short range that it's easy to stack the box.
And 3 backs now have a touch, and Reno is going to take it off himself. He almost got there. Johnny Reno on the QB sneak. We've seen that a few times this weekend. And that was almost the first down, a touchdown, rather. It's his second rush of the game. And now they're right. Gee, I'll tell you what, it was harsh not to give it to him.
So
he
close.
Might go for it again here. This Tom rolls out. Oh, Reno! He's got all the time in the world to run that in. What about the awareness from Johnny Reno? Started the rollout progression and he took it on himself. And Minnesota's on the board.
And there's no wonder about how that one goes in. Johnny almost had that one a fraction ago, and their center's got the ball practically on the plane. Why not? Just give it to the guy and see if he can make something happen. And there he does. Minnesota answers back.
There you go. Johnny on the spot gets the touchdown. It's his 3rd rush of the game, and it's an opening touchdown for the legend. Extra point from Mickey Melillo, who is up and through, and that caps off a 7-play drive that spanned 2.5 minutes.
Not exactly a challenging one for Minnesota there.
A couple of really impressive grabs on that drive as well. Kickoff return from within the end zone by Ellis, and Ellis tries to get to the outside. Good tackle though, made at the 25, and that's where the Corsairs will take over. And it must be said, this game is starting to settle into a bit of a groove here. After these offenses have clicked into gear.
They both know what the game plan is. They've both shown how they're going to move the ball. Now it's up to defense to make some adjustments. It's about who does a better job clamping down first.
4 wide for Price. Drops back, he's got good protection on either side, throws off his back foot, and that's incomplete. That was risky. Tried to fling it towards Jet Zero, and he couldn't hang on.
Not exactly sure what was going through Jet Zero's mind as he's coming back on that one, having to fall to make that grab. It's a tough position to put yourself in, and then you don't want to ask your receiver to have to make those kind of catches.
Another aggressive passing set here from the Corsairs. Bunch to Price's left. Going to drop back here again. Got good protection from that line. Flings it outside. That's caught for a gain of about 4 by Joseph Baudet. That's his second catch of the game. Brings up third and medium.
Lots of credit has to be given to Minnesota's secondary here, doing a very good job containing and preventing any early fast reads from Queen City. Ever since giving up that one big bomb, they're doing a good job shutting down those quick hit routes.
Third down. Eric Price rolls around. Incomplete. Big play by Adrian Blaine. Stops the drive, and Minnesota's defense is starting to click into gear.
And she just did a great job on coverage there. The former Florida Storm, and now the All-Star, first time last year. She's doing a great job in coverage deep there.
She is an outstanding player. Effectively filled the vacancy left by Daniel Wright, who also had a terrific game earlier tonight. Well, Adrian Blaine starting to stamp her authority in this one. Punt fielded at the 37 by Mam, and we'll see Minnesota take over after the previous scoring drive.
Great job by Minnesota defense. Again, just they knew that the pass was going to be coming, and it was all about how they could effectively attack the quarterback while also getting coverage down the field, and they mission accomplished.
Bunch to Reno's right. Again, there's that toss play to Mam on the outside. Picks up only a yard. And I just want to check. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives so far today. This is the 7th drive of the quarter. That's pretty incredible. It's been a slow first quarter, but an entertaining one at that.
Feels like someone's going to break off a play at any moment, but the defenses are doing a good job getting stops.
Once again, this aggressive formation from Minnesota. Reno zips it. That's caught. Found a target downfield. Taylor's got his second.
And you got to feel good about that one. Johnny is having to try and get himself into the mix again there, trying to get things down the field. And he's trying to make sure everyone does get a catch, but sometimes you've got to go to one of your best options, and he finds Deezer down the field and over the middle too.
Reno again in this bunch look. Mam in the backfield. Rolls out this time. Mam in pass pro. Looks downfield. That's caught for a first down. 2 straight hits, and once again finds Deezer Powell for a first down.
Johnny's getting rolling. He's now 6 of 9, and he's definitely thinking about finding the end zone on this drive, whether through the air or on the ground. You can tell he wants to take the lead.
Quarter down here in Minnesota. Scores tied with the legend driving downfield. We'll be back in a short moment. Intriguing first quarter finally comes to a close. It was a long one, but we're back here at Northwood Stadium in St. Paul, Minnesota. Reno again with a 4 wide set, 1 tight end is France. Reno drops back, good protection again. That's incomplete. Was looking for Deezer Powell, the former Corsair, I should add. And that one falls away incomplete.
You know, something that I'm finding interesting is whenever you look at the total yards that both teams are having through the air, you think it's a similar game. Queen City's got 93 passing yards. Minnesota's got a little over 100 at 114. But time of possession tells you what the difference is between these two games, between these two offenses so far. Minnesota has 6.5 minutes to Queen City's 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
3 wide, France motioned from one side to the other. Reno drops back, zips it backfield. That's caught by Colin Hart for a gain of 2, and that will present a 3rd and long.
Minnesota's 500 so far. Two out of 4 on 3rd down. Will they go above 500?
Certainly a bit of football in this one. Reno, really long drop back, took about 9 steps backward. Caught by Taylor. What a performance so far from Jay Taylor. He is clocked in big time. And now they've got goal to go.
Big hit, no problem. That's his attitude today. Anything that comes his way, he's going to put his body on the line to haul in and make sure he gives the most for his team. Johnny Reno is just putting these balls in tight windows to make sure that his receivers have the best chance to make the play on the ball.
Minnesota averages 280 odd passing yards per game. They've already hit 135 in just over a quarter of football. Reno drops back. Time. Caught at the back of the end zone. He's found a man. It's Jason France.
Call Johnny Reno the mailman by air or by ground. He's going to make sure that the package arrives on time. That's just a great play there. He throws the ball up over. It's a little bit risky to throw it around that many white jerseys, but he sees that a lot of those guys have their heads turned around, and that there's the unguarded Jason France running through the very backside of the end zone.
Jason France is one of the top tight ends in this league. You cannot leave him that wide open. And Minnesota executes on that drive, and they take the lead after the early score from Queen City. If you're liking this game so far, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action, and help the channel grow through your support. Kickoff is not returnable, so Queen City will take it out to the 20.
And I just love it whenever a kicker has the kind of leg that it takes to put it either in the back of the end zone or, dare I say, even out of the end zone. Just a simple choice in life.
Today. Single back off to the left of Price. Queen City we're going to get back to it here. Price saw pressured. Somehow got it away, and it's caught. And the receiver got dragged back about half a mile. And it only results in a 2-yard gain. And Commissioner Cameron Irvine with a game update.
Thank you, Jacob. Indy got off to a hot start, but Denver recovered a fumble on a punt return. That turned into Gene Struthers 2 plays later, connecting with Jeremy Mosley for the score. 14-7 over there, too, in the third. Back to you.
Go identical score lines here as Price drops back. That's caught! Second time he's hit the young man downfield, the sophomore wideout Bob Wood. He's had a hot start to this game.
And that is their second first down of the game. He's finding Bob Wood once again running in space, making a critical throw in the window there, because if he waits any longer on the timing on that one, the safety is there and can either make a play on the receiver to force an incompletion or even make a play on the ball to try and pick it.
Bob Wood's already got 87 yards off only 2 catches. Check that, 96. That's a career high for the second season wide out. Adrian Blaine shuts that one down after only a gain of 1. Second down and 9 here for the Corsairs. Price drops back, zips it again, finds a man. There's the elite tight end. James Matthew Jr. has checked in.
And you really want to try and keep the ball moving here, and Eric Price delivers. He drops back, feels the pressure, doesn't matter. He knows where his tight end is breaking on that post route, and is able to find him in under the coverage from the zone. Make sure to get the chains moving.
Single back again, off to Price's left. It's gone in pass pro. That's way too big. Absorbed some pressure from that Minnesota front end and threw it incomplete.
And you're not going to be able to keep the front four of Minnesota at bay the entire game. There's going to be some times where that pressure does hit home. It's going to be about what Eric Price is able to do when those moments happen. Does he avoid giving it away?
Here we go again. Price zips it. That's tipped away and almost pursuing it back to make a play at it was Nicholas Frussel, and that brings up a third down. I just remembered I haven't introduced the Minnesota defense. Angela Meerkat, Mark Mello, Max Knight, the line, Stephen Black, Matthew Alvarado, and Jason Clay, the linebackers, Cody Griffin, Nicholas Frussel, Johnny Bravo are your corners, Adrian Blaine, Jubilee Marsh, and Derek Meerkat are the safeties. 4 wide for Queen City. Drops back, Prices incomplete, overthrew the interior man in James Matthew Jr., but Blame was all over it again, and it's a 4th down.
And I think that's a good decision throw there. He didn't make a great decision on 2nd down, threw that one in the middle of a lot of great jerseys, but that one, he had the right idea. He tried to fit in the window, just put a little too much mustard on it.
Ian Deegan, the rookie, to punt this one away. Fair call at 12, so that's a decent result for Queen City. As Queg Mam doesn't return that one, and Queen City's defense is just starting to sort of bend a little bit. This offense had a really big start with the long pass from Bryce to Bob Wood on effectively the 3rd play of their offensive possession, and now all of a sudden the legend have really settled in here at home. Zips it. That is one that he will want back. It's been a good start to this game for Kappa Jones. He had 2 hands on it, but it fell away.
Kappa's play to make. That one, if he's able to snag it, is going back possibly even for 6 with how short of a field that is. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have had to make someone miss, but with that short of a field, that's a great chance.
Aggressive again. Deep in their own territory. Reno drops back. Zips it. That's caught by Powell. And he's starting to inflict real damage on his former team.
And that's a really impressive showing. You think that he's absolutely trying to make a statement. But this is simply Minnesota knows who they are. They know what their goal is. They know how they're going to move the ball effectively, and they are executing on that plan. Look at that kind of performance overall.
Johnny Reno has completed 9 of his last 10, including a touchdown throw to Viva La France on that previous possession. 3 wide. Reno drops back. Got good protection again, and that's incomplete. Great work from that Queen City secondary to jar it free. Alex Marshall in on the breakup.
And those are the kinds of defensive plays that Queen City really need to be getting consistently. If they can string 3 of those in a row, they will force a Minnesota punt. But you've got to do that 3 times in a row because Johnny is coming.
Reno drops back. He's going to rush it himself again, and he eats one. Only gains about 3. And there's a revised look of Johnny Reno's last 10 attempts. And I want to give a quick shout out, because I forgot to do it earlier, to our stats room tonight. We've got a representative from both teams, Axel Raven and Justin Reside, who ran in the last minute. We appreciate both of you for helping us out tonight. Reno on the third down, drops back, got good protection, and he's found France again. Jason France with 2 catches already, and Reno again starting to really cook this Queen City secondary.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end, the former All-Star back in season 20, making his impact definitely felt on this drive. Look at Johnny Reno's pass distribution. He is finding his men over the middle in the center, in between the numbers.
Reno again, fresh set of downs. Powell, that's incomplete coverage. Draped all over him. Haynes again has had a strong start to this game.
And there's credit to be given to the Queen City's defense to be certain. Minnesota hasn't exactly moved the ball at will, but they are finding their rhythm now. Queen City absolutely wants to make sure they don't give up a touchdown again.
Reno drops back, sends it across his body, and that's caught for a gain of about 4. That's a new receiver. T to Queen catches her second. That brings up another third down. They've been very good so far, Minnesota, on third down. Reno with a bunch to his left. 4-1 defense from Queen City. He's going to roll out. Hart in protection. That's incomplete. It almost found its way through to Powell, but Queen City gets a hold.
And that's, I almost feel as that's the receiver's play to make. You've got to catch that ball. The hit did not come in before the ball arrived. It's a very catchable pass. I know that it's a diagonal pass across the field. It's not the one you want to be making, but it's still a very catchable ball. You got to get those.
Melillo punts that one. It's fielded at 15. A couple of the players on special teams there to run in with each other. And there you go. Queen City haven't rushed the ball yet. At least they haven't gained a single yard in the rushing category. Minnesota haven't done much better by only 27. It's been the passing attacks, as we expected, that have really lit this contest up. And Eric Price is looking to go on a drive here to tie the game up. 85 needed to go downfield. First down. Short throw outside. Matthew Jr. gets through the first contact and is eventually brought to the ground by Blaine and company. It's a gain of 5.
And I can't help but feel for Eric Price here, because now he's the quarterback who's playing from behind, so a lot is resting on his shoulders to be the guy that gets them some points here. But at the same time, your rushing attack has given you 2 attempts for 0 yards total.
Heavy ice. Perhaps this is the situation where they get their first rushing yard on the board. Price, no, he throws. Zips it, that's incomplete. Was looking for Matthew Jr. again. And it's tipped away incomplete.
Queen City's offensive coordinator seems to be tunneling in on the pass as the solution to all their problems. But Eric Price's 50% completion percentage would suggest maybe you should mix in a little something else.
5 wide on third down. 5 required. Price drops back. That's incomplete. Great coverage from behind. Prevents Bob Wood from getting his 3rd catch of the game. And Minnesota gets a quick 3-and-out defensively.
Excellent play in the secondary by Minnesota. They've been making those kinds of plays ever since they gave up that big home run on the first drive. They've since really clamped down and have not necessarily figured it out entirely, but they've sealed up their biggest gaps.
Punt sent away. Trapped at halfway, and that's going to allow the legend to start their next drive inside Queen City territory. And again, Johnny Reno just seems to have a stranglehold of this contest, at least to a certain extent. Queen City have done as good a job as they can. See what happens on this drive.
And it's just easier on Johnny because Minnesota is able to run the football, right? You can do a little bit of running, and that opens up your passing attack.
First down. Reno drops back, zips it to the backfield. Justin Williams got it a bit too late, and he couldn't. Well, he was incomplete in the end. It looked like if he had caught it inbounds, it would have been a 2-yard loss or so, but In the end, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, he's running out there in the flat, and Johnny throws the ball a little bit late, and he catches the ball 1 foot in bounds, other foot out of bounds, for the best.
Reno again, first down this time, looks downfield. It's got a man. Taylor has had a really good start to this game. He's got another one.
And that's once again, Johnny Reno is effectively reading the zone defense coverage. He's seeing where his opportunities are to strike the soft spots. He didn't only have that option there, but he's liking to stick to the middle of the field in between the numbers right now because those are simply shorter yardage in the air. Shorter yards in the air, the ball's having to move.
Al's got 5 for 90. Taylor now 3 for 52. Reno rolling out. Reno's going to rush it and bang! Whacked at the line of scrimmage. Queen City stands up defensively. They have said enough is enough. We are not allowing him to run any more on us. Jason Clay in on that hit.
Saying, where exactly do you think you're going, sir? Nowhere.
Reno drops back. Rolls out again. Rolls and then he's whacked again. Same man. Check that. I was looking at the wrong roster. And it's Wolf Highwind in on that tackle for a second time. I checked that. It was Ted Haynes. Good call. I saw a 6, but I just couldn't make out that first number. But it was definitely the same individual who got a hold of Reno twice there. Haynes is having a good night. Reno on third down. Drops back. It's got good protection. Still looking. Downfield. End zone. It's tipped away and incomplete. Taylor almost had it. But it's great coverage in the end by Alex Marshall to save the day.
And that's a very dangerous pass. Johnny's happy to gamble, obviously, but he gets away with one there. Queen City could have taken the ball away. And you gotta feel like they're kicking themselves a little bit. It feels good to get a stop, but if you make that interception, this isn't a field goal attempt at all.
Mickey Melillo out to try and knock over this 44-yard attempt. Swings it from right to left, and that's good. And the lead is kicked out to 3 scores.
And it's something to really see that Minnesota is starting to find what Queen City is showing them easier and easier to solve. They're moving the ball more consistently here in the second quarter as compared to what they were doing early on. They were having a little bit of trouble. They were 2 of 4 in thirds downs, which, that's maintaining the same, but their yards per play are still showing they've got an answer to what Queen City is doing.
Says he's going to have another crack before the half is out. We'll get a playoff before the 2-minute warning. Bob Wood on return duty, and see. The Corsairs haven't been terrible offensively. They just haven't found a real groove yet. They had, again, that massive play that connected to Bob Wood. That was one of 2 big connections between Price and Wood, but so far it just hasn't really settled into a proper momentum. See if it hits here on this drive. Price drops back, good protection again. Oh, that was almost picked. I thought Johnny Bravo was going to come away with that one, but he just let it slip out of his hands.
And you know what? I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it now. I think Eric Price is having a bad day. It looks good on paper because he had a very lucky first drive. He had a good connection with Joseph Baudet for 18 yards, and then that 66-yard streaker, but that was mostly Bob Wood. He has not had a good day otherwise.
One could say that he needs half time at the moment. Price zips it. Oh, that was another risky pass. I see what you mean. He's really putting his receivers under some duress. Adrian Blaine again on that deflection, and Queen City's got another third down.
He's not making it easy for them. He's putting them closer to gray jerseys whenever they're trying to catch these footballs instead of trying to find the guy who's moving into those open windows.
4 wide for Price. Good protection again. This offensive line has done a great job tonight. Caught! First down, they needed that badly. Adrian Ellis with a great grab.
Absolutely critical catch there. Eric needed that completion. He needed, and you really need that first down there. You can't stall out whenever you're 2 scores down and you've got 3 timeouts. You absolutely need to try and get a score here. I'd like to see them use a timeout, though.
Haven't called one yet, but they're approaching halfway with 3 timeouts still to burn through. Single back to Price's right. The handoff will go up the middle. That's possibly the first time they've ran the ball today. And McDowell will pick up a single yard, and there comes the first timeout. Really odd call there, Alex.
Yeah, it feels like a questionable moment to do your 3rd ever rushing play of the game. You feel like you want to establish that running game a little bit earlier instead of just putting one of your guys out there to go eat up a yard.
It's just the 3rd rush for Queen City in this entire half. That pass is again in double coverage, trying to force it to James Matthew Jr., but Johnny Bravo, among others, were all over it.
And Eric's he just showed me that he knows how to find a receiver running towards open space instead of a receiver running towards more coverage. He's got to make that correct decision again here on 3rd and long.
Here we go. Crucial play here for Price. Drops back. That's caught. He's found Bob Wood again. And if he hasn't already, he is having a career night.
Bob once again beating his man off the line, and Eric finds him before the safety is able to arrive to provide any kind of coverage over the top. Now over 100 yards. What a game.
Only his 2nd season, but that's easily eclipsed his previous career high. Queen City starting to get a bit of a roll on here. Price sips it. Oh, great grab. How good is James Matthew Jr.? He was falling backwards and was able to hang on to that one. Gain of 6.
And there's another timeout. I don't feel like they would have needed to use one if they hadn't run earlier, but at the same time, who cares? They're finally within range to score again and make it a 1-score contest.
2nd and short. Price drops back. That's incomplete. Try to feed it into a window, and Adrian Ellis is hurt. This is not good.
Not
They've
at all.
just lost their number 1 wideout.
And that's absolutely heartbreaking. You're counting on your entire receiving core to deliver here, and you've got one of your guys who's near the bottom of the list who's showing out today, but you've got to think that's only possible because the defense is having to account for guys like Adrian Ellis.
Price going back to his right on a 3rd and 4. At the very least, they can have a field goal attempt at the end of this. Price sips it. That's incomplete again. Plenty of coverage surrounding the middle of the field. Stephen Black in on the tip. It's going to force him to a field goal attempt from Joe Garfield.
Pretty short field goal. It shouldn't be a problem making this one. I know it's an open-air stadium, but 48 yards is very, very makeable. Of course, that's the catch for James.
Hunting, kicking it straight into the home stand. He's hooked it left to right, and Garfield. No, he didn't get it. Commentators curse from Alex West. Joe Garfield has hooked it off to the left.
Oh no, he just didn't put enough on it. The wind, when he hooked it, the wind just was pushing against it. He didn't have enough. He was an all-star last season. Thought he had it in the bag.
Hey, you're going to get fined for that one at the next broadcast. That's a shocker. So much for it being an easy field goal. That was not easy. No, it was straight. It was just a bit short. Perhaps the wind.
Can we get a wind check?
Oh dear. Reno, fresh set of downs, right back to it. He's found Viva La France. That's the 3rd catch going downfield, and Minnesota, nowhere are they going, and they're going to call a timeout.
Whatever the wind speed is on the ground, it's not enough to stop Johnny Reno from finding his men down the field. Especially Mr. France. Hashtag throw it to the tight end, why don't you?
Hopefully his tight ends have been having good nights. Something that would have been expected, I'd assume. 3 wide. Reno drops back. Again, aggressive. That's incomplete, though. Just overthrew Jay Taylor.
Is this the longest first half we've had this week? So much passing.
This is crazy. We've nearly eclipsed an hour. And in the first half of the game I called earlier, the Arizona-Florida game was barely half an hour. This is unreal. But it's been entertaining. No doubt about it. 3 wide again for Reno. Short throw. That's France again. 4-yard pickup. And that's going to be another timeout from the legend.
Just looking at some funny stats here. We've got 33 total plays on offense from Queen City, as compared to Minnesota getting how many total plays here?
3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Reno on 3rd down, long throw, that's incomplete. And can't quite tell if they're in field goal range. I would imagine not. In fact, they're on the wrong side of the field. Oh no, maybe it's the 35. It's borderline for Mickey Melillo, and he's gonna have a crack at it. 53 yards. What do you reckon? Because we saw earlier that wind going in the other direction was strong enough to knock the Garfield attempt off. Maybe it's enough to knock this one over. Melillo sends it up, and it falls through. Mickey Melillo with a huge kick, and Minnesota's got another one on the board.
I've got to feel like there's got to be some kind of tailwind here, surely, because that 48 one, it was short, but Mickey's only been in the league for 1 year longer than Joe Garfield, and Joe's the former All-Star. You'd think that Joe's the one who'd get the field goal here, and that Mickey would be the one who'd struggle, but not home field advantage.
The lead Sasquatch himself, Mickey Melillo, gets a second field goal on the board, and Queen City are going to have about 30 seconds or so to respond if they want to before the half is out. Worth noting, they do, I believe, receive the opening second half kickoff, so not too much of a deficit necessarily. If you get a touchdown on the opening drive of the next half, you're right back in it. It's still within 2 scores. So all to play for here. See if Price gets aggressive before the half is out.
Only 1 timeout to work with.
Moves Baudet from left to right. He's got a stack of receivers to his right. Handoff up the middle. Nothing aggressive from Queen City. And 0 takes that carry. And that will allow the clock to run out. And Alex, I feel like I'm losing my voice. That half did not help. We've been here for an hour, and we are only just reaching the halftime interval.
Well, do yourself a favor. Go get some honey tea. Get a lozenge. Let me talk to the people about what we've seen so far, because really it's a story of 2 quarterbacks. It's Eric Price and Johnny Reno, and if you look at the kind of day these 2 guys are having, they couldn't be further apart. Johnny is not necessarily completing all of his passes, but he's 16 to 29, and he's moved for 216 yards. He's got a touchdown. He's also moved the ball on the ground, but the difference is he scored first. His team scored first, so he's been in an advantageous position. His team has been able to run the ball. Queen City has had to move the ball entirely through the air, and that has put a lot of pressure on Eric Price's shoulders, who has struggled. He's only got 1 touchdown. He's got one big drive to his name that actually resulted in points, and he's only got 44% completion percentage so far. 11 of 25 for 186 yards. The yard total is good, but you've got to find your receivers more often than this if you're going to actually try and come back from this kind of deficit. it's critical that you make more of your drives when you have them and don't punt the ball away so often.
There you go. Great analysis from Alex West. That's why you get a really good analyst to buy time for me to go and get some cold water. Here we go. It's a huge second half upcoming here at Northwood Stadium in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Legend have the lead, but the Corsairs, after a much-needed halftime interval, looking to come back and get a score to bring it back within a single score. Mickey Melillo kicked the longest field goal of the season so far, and he is tasked with the opening kickoff. And again, that wind on show, that barely made it past the 10. And it's going to be good starting field position. Bob Wood, or he broke one off earlier, and he's going to bring this kickoff up to the 35.
Man, maybe I was underestimating how much advantage Johnny was playing with the wind at his back there. That kick did not go nearly as far as we've been seeing some of these kickoffs go. Gotta wonder if there's going to be some wind at the back of Queen City's offense now.
He's having a night to remember, Bob Wood, and looking to continue that form here in the second half. Price, he's got 3 wide, single back off to his left. 4-2 defense from Minnesota. He's going to move Xavier Knight in motion. Handoff up the middle. Zero's had a tough start to this game. It's only his 3rd carry, only picks up a yard. Matthew Alvarado in on the stop. This Minnesota linebacker core hasn't had to do much. When it's been called upon, it's been really good.
Absolutely. The front 4 for Minnesota have been able to get a lot of push against Queen City's offensive line. Queen City's barely held a pocket together.
Queen City again. That's Price. Oh, incomplete. Gee, that was a huge gamble. Johnny Bravo was right there in coverage, and they're lucky he didn't come away with a pick there.
Very lucky indeed, but at the same time, I understand it. If you look at what Eric Price is working with, he had someone barreling down on him, and the hands were up, and it was, I think, Max Knight, 6'5", 350 pounds. I'd throw that away too.
5 wide. We've seen this a lot from Minnesota. Queen City about to call it now. Drops back, good pocket again. Pressure was there. Caught Matthew Jr. He's off and racing to the 30 and almost broke free. But a game-saving tackle made by Adrian Blaine stops it from being a touchdown.
Signs of life and a new spark of intensity coming out here in the second half. Eric is throwing the ball with continued confidence, at least, and his guys are responding. James Matthew Jr., the 4-time All-Star, who's just an All-Star in last season. He's a big target at 6'7". Absolute unit of a man.
He's the number 1 tight end in the SFL and the number 2 overall in receiving yards this season, second to only Gabriel Manning. Price steps it downfield. That's caught Wood again. Bob Wood, look out! Inside the 5, and he's down at the 2. His night continues to absolutely be wonderful. Bob Wood has been spectacular.
Someone go check on him and see if he's even conscious. This man is playing out of his mind. Scratch that, playing out of his skin. Look at how he shucks one and goes for extra yards against the other one. Bob is just saying, you know what, Eric, just throw the ball in my way. I'm going to catch it more often than I don't.
Can they punch it in? This Queen City rushing attack has struggled tonight. Price is going to throw. Zips it. Picked! What a disaster!
Oh, no.
And it's going back in the other direction. Jet Zero saves the day, but it's taken away by one of the Minnesota defenders, Nicholas Frossel, the slot corner, and that's disastrous for Queen City.
And that's what happens whenever you can't establish your running game on very short yardage situations. You are still forced to try and pass the ball to get any kind of movement, because if the defense isn't even having to send the blitz to stop the run initially, are they going to have to blitz you in short yardage situations when they can just stack the box? No, they're not. It's obvious that you have to pass, but this is what can happen.
That was disastrous. And now, out to the 20. Quagman, rush outside. Oh, Jones had to chase her down. There you go. Almost no rushing. Today, only 8 yards gained by Queen City. And Minnesota 30, most of which would have been gained by Mam.
And that's running is just not who these teams really are. It is present to provide a little bit of variety to their attack and to keep teams honest, but it's about the pass.
Reno drops back again, familiar sight. He zips it downfield, caught by France again. And these two tight ends are going back and forth. Jason France with his 5th catch of the game.
And it's almost starting to feel like anything you can do, I can do better attitude, because here is every time Eric starts to march the ball down the field, Johnny answers back gamely. But the difference is being that Johnny and the Minnesota Legend are just able to score points more effectively. They're not struggling to get third down conversions.
Fresh set of downs here from the 42 of Minnesota's side of the field. Reno drops back again, zips it downfield. Oh, crap! Deezer Powell has pulled that one out. Check that. It's Tita Queen who plucked that out of thin air. Incredible catch.
The former Seattle nemesis is absolutely over the moon that she made that catch. Johnny somehow finds her in double coverage. What is that even? That is pure. That is not Johnny's good job. That is all credit to Tita Queen for making that dream a reality.
There's not much you can do about that if you're Alex Marshall. You did everything you could. It's just a ridiculous grab from Tita Queen.
Absolutely bracketed.
Now,
doesn't matter.
Reno. Oh, tipped. That was almost picked. Wow. That was just should have come away with that one. Justin Reside will want that one back.
Off the fingertips. And that's just one of those where it's like, heartbreaker, because you have a chance to stop the drive in its tracks here. They're in scoring position.
5 wide again. Minnesota just looking to continue to sling it downfield. That's caught. Connects again with Tita Queen. And now they're in goal to go.
And that's just an impressive job by Johnny Reno, who once again identifies the soft spot behind the linebacker's coverage. That is Kappa Jones having to drop back in zone, who he sees is out of position to try and make a play on the ball, and fits that one in there before the safety is able to come down and actually try and do anything about it. All they can do is make the hit to stop the touchdown. Great pass.
Minnesota now have 4 different wideouts with over 50 yards on the night. The Queens had the last 2 receptions. France, the lone receiver, flexed out to the left. Handoff up the middle. Justin Williams, good tackle though. Prevents that from getting more than a couple.
And right now, Queen City needs to make a huge stand. This is a goal line situation. If Minnesota manages to punch it in here, which it looks like they have a decent chance to, it starts to feel like this game is just out of reach before we even get to the 4th quarter.
Again, heavy eye set. France off to the side. Hand off middle. That time Hart's got it. Takes it up the middle. Check that. One of the other backs involved there. I no idea who that was, but Minnesota has got a rushing touchdown on the board.
And that's Mark Edwards. I won't be calling his name very often, but that's just a reflection of Minnesota's ability to get the ball to anyone and everyone. They're able to take whatever Queen City is giving them on defense and turn it into gains. It's starting to look like Minnesota's just got their defense figured out, and Queen City's struggling to do the same.
My best guess was that Justin Williams came out after the rush that he took, and they put a backup fullback in, and that backup fullback got the rushing touchdown. And Minnesota is now up with a 20-point scoring margin, and unfortunately, this Queen City offense seems a little bit short on life.
It's not exactly what the line would have you believe this game was going to look like, but it's kind of what it's starting to feel like whenever a passing team gets behind early. They already struggle to incorporate the rushing game, but if you're behind, it just becomes pass, pass, pass. You become very one-dimensional, and unless you have a transcendent quarterback and receiver or two to throw the ball to, it means that becoming one-dimensional is becoming predictable, and that is really what proved to be lethal for Queen City's best chance at scoring outside of their home run touchdown, interception and goal-to-go situation.
A little over 5.5 left here in the third quarter at Northwood Stadium. Matthew Jr. from left to right. Price drops back, needs to get something going. Pressure all over him. Zips it downfield. Incomplete, almost fit it in to Joseph Baudet, but it falls incomplete, and we'll pass it back over to Cam for a game update.
Thank you, Jacob. Watch this. Denver down 10 with 3:08 to go in the fourth. They fake the field goal. He's wide open, and it's off the hands. And that's the difference in the game. It's over. 17-14. Indy holds on by 3. Back to you.
What a way for that one to finish. Indianapolis's defense stood up big time tonight, and so has Minnesota's. Price again to have another crack at it. This time he's going to do the Reno move, and he lost it. It's picked up eventually. Getting back there was you-know-who, Bob Wood, to save the day. But Eric Price, what are you doing, young man? You're one-handed. He thought he was Lamar Jackson.
He's getting desperate out there. He's just trying anything and everything he can to try and find a way to get a crack in this defense. But it's ineffectual.
2 hands for beginners, big fella. Outside hand, that's caught by Matthew Jr., but only gains a yard. Frossel all over that one, and it's going to likely result in another punt from Ian Deegan.
And it's got to be a punt here, but you kind of got to wonder if they're going to think about taking any shots on fourth down once we get to the fourth quarter with how far they're down by.
Booming punt sent up, and returned by Mam up to the 40. And now this game, if it weren't already, is now firmly in Minnesota's hands.
It's theirs to lose. And Johnny Reno, with how he's been throwing the ball today, is not giving me any indications that he is going to blink. He has had a remarkable second half, I think, and it's one of those things that we just underline how his performance has been overall. He's found the guys that he needed to in the gaps. He's got 6 of his last 10, as you can see here in the icon or in the score bug. It's just something he's calm in the pocket too. That's the most impressive thing about it. Very composed.
He's on track for 400, which could be a league season high. Quake Mam outside, stiff arm. That's a first down. That's the best rush of the night from either team.
And it's by the wideout. Once again, playing out of position.
She's outrushed at minimum the entire Queen City offense, and furthermore, any of her other running backs combined. And in fact, that run alone is more than both of the tailbacks combined. About 11 from Knox and Hart combined, and that was more than 11. Fresh set of downs here. Motion receiver from right to left. That's our handoff to Colin Hart, who bullies his way forward, picks up 4. It's his best run of the evening.
And it's simple workman-like stuff, but Minnesota's finally getting the run game involved and right on time. They're up by 3 scores. They've got a dominant position overall. Queen City is struggled to stop them overall. Run the ball.
Handoff up the middle, that only gains a couple. Justin Williams that time on the carry, and Queen City again with an opportunity to get a stop.
An opportunity, but since it's 3rd and 4, Minnesota was able to get a couple of effective plays. They can pass, they can run, but no matter what, it's not that many yards.
Third and 4. Reno drops back, passing again. Pump fake, got away from the sack. Johnny Reno has been unreal tonight, and that is a perfect encapsulation of his performance.
Absolutely decisive moments there. He feels the pressure coming, and he's about to get pincered, says, you know what, it's not that many yards. I'm going to go get him myself. And he has just taken this offense, put it on his shoulders, and said, I have the shoulders for this. I've got the strength. Let's go.
Handoff outside, the toss to Craig Mam, and that picks up 7. And perhaps that last play was a little case of Johnny showing Eric Price, this is how it's done. Mm-hmm. None of this trying to take hits with one hand on the ball. Goal line eye here. Queen City stacks the box. Handoff, short side. Hart is going to get the first down. Shut down after a gain of 4.
Able to cross it, they gave him the spot, which they should. And this is now that they've already well established that they've got the passing game on lock. Now they're getting the run game involved just to remind that that's an option and to keep the clock draining. This is exactly what you want to be doing. They're keeping their foot on the throat of Queen City.
Williams up the middle, snuffed out by Kappa Jones after a gain of 1.
They're also well within field goal range, even with how the wind can be. I still say that a 30-something yard field goal is very, very makeable.
We've heard that one before, unfortunately. Mam, another toss to the outside. They have loved that play, and with good reason. It's been a safe 4 or 5 yards most of the times they've called it. Broken once for a gain of about 12 or 13. Been a good night for Craig Mam in the rushing department.
She may not be the most involved receiver as far as the passing attack has been going, but
incomplete. They wanted that one badly. Anthony Wire couldn't come away with it, tipped up and away, and there's your field goal attempt. So Mickey Balillo will come out and try and knock this one over to further extend their lead.
Well, are you superstitious? Hold your breath, folks.
To be fair, this is a whole 10 yards shorter than the previous attempt from Garfield. Balillo sends it straight down the middle, and it caps off a pretty suffocating drive. 10 plays, it spanned 3.5 minutes. Minnesota now out by 23.
And you know what's telling about that drive to me? It was 10 plays, and it only was 40 yards. That was not a long drive that they had to make. They had to make a few first downs, yes, but they didn't have to make a whole long series. They've been very effective in the field position battle.
Kickoff returned up towards the 30 by Wood, and it must be said, I mean, it's within 3 scores, as it is doable, but if they don't get a quick score here on this possession, it might be a wrap almost.
It's starting to feel that way.
Started off red hot, and to this point, since that opening drive that they had, it looks, to be honest, I don't want to try and, bring my own team into this, but it looks like one of the Charleston games from the last couple of weeks where their first drive looked outstanding, and then offensively they just haven't found the sync for the rest of the game. 3 wide to single back to the left. Wood is going to be moved in motion here. No one picks him up. Price drops back. Good block on the outside. And caught! Oh, wow. That was some grab by Joseph Baudet. And that picks up a first down.
And it's going to sound very harsh of me to be saying this after Eric Price just makes a great throw there, because he does what he needs to do, and he finds a man running towards daylight instead of running towards gray jerseys. But Eric, I called it in the second quarter. He's having a bad day. He got a very lucky break whenever he found Bob Wood on that first drive for that streak route that just went for 66 yards, but he hasn't found the end zone since.
Price sipped it. That was too hot to handle for Matthew Jr. He's had a good night, but that was a bit too good. Incomplete.
And it feels like like you were mentioning, Jacob, because Queen City hasn't scored since their first drive, and their best 2 chances to score resulted in an interception on the goal line and a field goal that just didn't have enough behind it.
3 wide. Queen City needs to get something moving heading into the fourth quarter. Price. Short throw caught by Matthew Jr. That one was a little easier. And tackle made by Stephen Black. And worth noting as we enter the third quarter, haven't seen Adrian Ellis, so I suspect that he succumbed to that injury sustained earlier in the quarter. See if they get this play off before the quarter break. They do. Price drops back, rolls around in the pocket, caught. Oh, great call. And there we go, a bit of momentum to finish the quarter. Finds Bodette again, and that will cap off the third quarter.
And that's how he's moving the ball effectively when he's getting the ball down the field into his receiver's hands. He's finding someone in space. When he throws into these multiple coverage situations or at receivers that are bracketed, he has balls hit the ground. He has balls bounce off of cornerback's hands, or his receiver gets hit as the ball is arriving and he can't catch it, or he just outright gets punched out of his hands. It's 17 of 35. That's just under 50% completion percentage for the game. You got to stick to what works and stop trying to force it where it doesn't.
Start of the fourth quarter here. Drops back, that's incomplete, and might use this opportunity to get the league rights. Or not. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, on inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection. State-of-the-art technology and world-class customer service, APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect track for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Price back to it, that's incomplete. Deflected away by Stephen Black.
And it's just a great play by the defense there.
Third down and a country mile. This is getting desperation territory here for the Corsairs. Price drops back, rolls out. There was pressure there and it collapsed. Zips it. It's too big. They had a shot at it. It was directed at the right man in Matthew Jr., but he couldn't come away with it. And suspect that will trot out the field goal unit.
You really want to see if you can get a touchdown there to narrow this gap. Field goal doesn't feel like it's enough, not whenever it's this late in the game, and not with how you've struggled to get scoring opportunities thus far. Oh no, it's a punt.
Yeah, Deegan looked at Garfield and said, I don't think you want any part of this. And he'll try and pin Minnesota as close to the corner as they can. It's fielded at the 12, so not a bad result. Stay tuned. The SFL announcements on enhancements and new features coming to the progression system, plus the location details on the 2024 convention are coming. The SFL is committed to improving the league and its convention each season, and the next level of play off the field, in the pool, and off the portal is coming soon. The Legend still trying to trot out this 5-wide formation. They want Johnny Reno to throw for 400 tonight. Again, he's knocking on the door of an SFL Season 22 record. That one's tipped away and incomplete, though, just overthrew T. de Queen.
You got to wonder about how these guys' shoulders are doing. Both of them, they've got to be going for ice packs in between these drives. Eric's thrown 38 attempts. Johnny's thrown, looks like 34.
It's a heap of yardage, though. It's just both teams have thrown for over 300 yards tonight. That handoff to Colin Hart picks up 5, and Queen City knocking on the door of a stop.
And it's kind of a bizarre stat line to think about. If you've got over 300, or you've got 300 yards passing for a team, but you've only got 7 points on the board.
Reno drops back. He rushes. No, he's stuffed. Good tackle. The first time we've really looked at this Queen City line, the rookie Emmanuel Petrilla gets a tackle for loss, and that's a really important stop.
And that one is an absolutely critical moment for the defense. They've got to make some stops here in the fourth quarter. They cannot allow Minnesota to eat clock and extend and have extended drives, because they need to give their offense the ball as much as they can.
You never know. Let's not put the kibosh on it just yet. Queen City have got the ball at their 43. It's a decent field position to start off with, as Knight is tackled by Frossel, but they've moved the ball okay today. They haven't been able to find the end zone, which feels like the overstatement of the century. But that goal line pick that Price threw a while ago, that was perhaps a real turning point, because the game was still very close at that point. Short throw, that's incomplete. He's looking for Knight, and it's worth noting, Alex, that interception on the goal line, they threw it out of the goal line ice set. They had 2 tight ends on the field, and they didn't run it. They were only 2 yards out. That call by head coach Chad Stinson perhaps coming back to bite them here with the way that this game has transpired. 3 wide. Price rolls back, and he's going to rush it. Look out. Eric Price again absorbing contact. This time he hung on to it. I'll tell you what, he is very gutsy running the ball with one hand on it.
And that's the biggest run that Queen City's had all day. The longest rushes they've had from William McDowell is a total of 4 yards.
Good and short. Well, the joke is set, but unsurprisingly, it's a pass. Short throw. Oh, grab. How good is James Matthew Jr.? He's had another classic night tonight. Had a good season overall, but he has been excellent.
I think he's been giving it all he has for sure tonight.
3 wide. Price handoff up the middle. That's the best carry of the night for any of Queen City's backs. Jet Zero picks up a chunk of 6.
And they finally are looking like they are figuring out how to move the ball against Minnesota. It's late in the game, but they still have some time to work with. Just have to be fast.
Another heavy set. Now they're running the ball. This doesn't make any sense. That's going to be credited as a 3-yard pickup for McDowell, but now it's 3rd and short.
Very friendly spot by the referees, but you know what? 3rd and 1. This is ostensibly a running situation. Got to get push up front.
They've passed this before. As I mentioned earlier, the handoff will go up the middle, and that's stuffed. Short of the first down mark, a tackle made in the end by Matthew Alvarado, and Tony Zoma couldn't get enough push forward to get the first down. I suspect they're going for it. No, it looks like the punting unit's out.
I feel like you have to go for it here, but Matthew Alvarado, the former Aztec, makes a great play over there. Kind of demoralizing. It's one of those statement plays. It's like, well, would we really be able to get that yard?
Well, Mam left it, and that's the first result for Queen City we've seen in a while. That punt from Deegan being fielded inside the 5, and I feel like even though it's on the 5, Minnesota will still trot out the empty 5 wide look, because why not?
Look at him go. Called it.
Of course, there you go. Well, to their credit, that Minnesota offensive line has held up brilliantly tonight, and they will again here. He's in the end zone. What about that for the aggression? And he's found Jay Taylor for a first down. Minnesota it feels borderline disrespectful at this point to pull out something like that.
It really does, but you can't just give Queen City a chance to make a series of stops and get short field position. You've got to do everything you can to keep your foot on the gas, at least until it's completely out of reach. They're doing the right thing by still playing the game.
They're still going at it here. Bunch formation, although it is a run to Mam, and Mam's night continues. Greg Mam off to the races. Still got Queen City defenders surrounding her, and eventually runs out of bounds after a really good chunky yardage.
And look at her go. The multi-position queen is having herself a ball from the backfield. I really need to see if we can get her rushing totals listed, because she is without a doubt the most effective back that they've had today. And it's just an impressive sight.
Continues to put the pressure on spread receivers out of the I form. Handoff. Hart, far side. That's going to pick up a couple as an injury on this play. And Colin Hart has gone down. So his night may well be over. And Isaac Knox will be tasked to see this one out. And just hope for Minnesota's sake that it's not a serious injury. But again, with SFL rules that won't carry into next week, he'll be on ice for the next few days at minimum and will be good to go. But a good opportunity, Alex, for Isaac Knox to get some really good SFL reps here.
Absolutely. You want to try and get your rookie some chances to shine, and here he goes. A big frame of his is able to bounce off one guy, but Queen City is just sending everything they have because they know that Minnesota at this point is only going to run the ball. There's no reason to do anything else except for maybe on these 3rd and long situations to try and get a first down, but even not getting the first down isn't the worst thing in the world here.
4 wide for Reno. He's going to roll out. Looks across his body. That's incomplete.
Almost an interception there. Just bounces right off of, I think that's the cornerback Ted Haynes' hands, who it just almost looks like that pass is coming straight to him in between the numbers, but he just isn't able to make a play on it.
Worth noting, Quick Mam has 7 carries for 48 yards tonight. That is the best out of any of the players who have had rushing touches tonight. Comfortably so. As Minnie Malillo sends another punt away, and that's caught at the 10 and brought up to the 15 by Xavier Knight. Now, start your Monday night at 7:15 p.m. in the same way we do every week, recapping the weekend that was in the SFL with Cameron Irvine, Mike O'Neill, and Ashley Jackson, and the rest of the SFL This Week crew when Baltimore heads to San Diego for a showdown of playoff hopefuls currently in the middle of the pack. Kickoff at 8:15 p.m. Eastern right here on SFL YouTube. That pass from Price is incomplete. Was looking for James Matthew Jr. and it's snuffed by Cody Griffin.
Bit of a no-fly zone there. Once again, gray jerseys are able to effectively swarm to the ball whenever the ball comes out of Eric Price's hands. That secondary is locked on where their guys are, but then they move to where the ball is going. It's just an impressive sight.
3 wide for Price, swarmed again, and he's able to force that one out, but almost to take a sack.
And that's just a great pressure off the edge there. Simple play design. You get some pressure. You overload the strong side, and then you're able to get to the backfield. Eric is really struggling, especially since just the only option is to throw.
It's a shame. 3 of his last 10 have been complete. He started off so well, and he just hasn't found that same momentum throughout the rest of the game. And again, that goal line interception back in the second quarter has perhaps come back to haunt them. Price throws, that's caught by Boudet, and he's had a good night. So, at the very minimum, Alex, some of these Queen City receivers have had really good nights. We talked a lot about Bob Wood, rather, and Joseph Boudet as well has had a really good afternoon. And as per usual, James Matthew Jr. has been excellent. But again, that completion percentage, 19 of 43, is far from where he would want to be right now. Single back is 0, and he's dumped beyond the line of scrimmage. And Price is going to go in no huddle now. Price drops back, protection on that far side. Tipped, great tip. The athleticism on show there by Derek Meerkat to deflect it away.
He just springs up in space. He just springs up. It's like he was a jack in the box, just lurking down there, waiting for something to come up in his area. And he sees it, swats that one down.
Keep at it here, 4 wide. Bunch to Price's right. Drops back, zips it. Short to Matthews Jr., and that is only going to pick up a yard. And I suspect that Ian Deegan will come out for another punt.
And, it's something that I want to talk about with James Matthew Jr. real quick. I know that he's made a lot of critical catches. Oh, never mind. 4th down, they're going for it.
That's what we want to see. Bit of aggressiveness from the offense. Price drops back, tipped away and incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. He was looking for Baudet, and Johnny Bravo was all over it. This Minnesota secondary has had a really good night.
And that'll put a bow on it. Talking about Minnesota's secondary for a second, and also their linebacker core, because of what they have done to essentially make James Matthew Jr. not a non-factor, but a very limited in what kind of damage he's able to inflict. He's got 9 catches for 76 yards, yes, but he's been targeted. We're saying about 19 times. He's got a less than 50% connection ratio with Eric Price because they have been all over him. He's had 1 big play for 38 yards, it feels like, and that makes up half of his total yardage receiving on the game.
I for Minnesota, and again, Reno passing downfield, looking for France. Double coverage, incomplete.
Johnny Reno still being called upon to just chuck it downfield and see what happens. I mean, you can. The game's basically sewed up at this point with that 4th down, with them stopping him on 4th down. But run the football. Put this game to bed.
He's got 284. I want to try and see if they can break the single-season record for passing yards, which I haven't actually got an official number on. I wish I did, but it feels like this has been one of the better passing performances from a single team this season.
I'll bet you it's a
Reno drops back, zips it. Yeah, okay. Look, the difference is, and this is not a dig at Tulsa anyway, is Reno's found 5 different targets tonight, including a 6th if you want to include the 2 catches made by Colin Hart. So he spread the ball out a heap. All 4 receivers have had a good chunky yardage and a good chunk of targets. And Jason France has done what he's needed to do. It's been a really, really impressive performance from Reno.
Absolutely. The only receiver who hasn't gotten a catch today is the rookie tight end, Robert Hansen Jr. Everyone else has gotten at least 1.
Spread receivers here on 3rd down. Handoff outside to Isaac Knox, and that's going to pick up a couple. And they'll trot Mickey Malillo out again. Kappa Jones had a respectable night in that inside linebacking spot. Ted Haynes has been good as well. Alex Marshall's had some good moments. But in general, they just haven't been able to keep up with the intensity of this Minnesota offense. But the real key was Queen City were perhaps a bit too aggressive with their passing game, again on the road. And Milillo has also had a good night, 3 of 3, the longest field goal made for this season with a 53-yarder. Earlier, this 40-yard attempt sneaks in the right-hand side upright and caps off a drive that they killed a minute and a half off.
Barely even a drive. It was just they got the ball on that 4th down conversion. It's already in scoring position. They know all they have to do is drain the clock and not give the ball back, because if they give the ball back, they can't put an extra stamp on this and widen that gap a little bit more. It's not like it was a close game, but this just puts it completely out of any kind of miracle reach.
Return from the middle of the end zone by Wood. Oh, look out. Knight is accelerating up to the 40. And some of their special teams work tonight has been impressive, to say the least. But they haven't quite broken one off just yet. But that was another nice return by Xavier Knight.
It doesn't feel great to say that the special teams return work has been one of your bright spots, but at least there is a bright spot for that, and Bob Wood has had himself a night to remember at the very least. So it's not all doom and gloom. They just have to work on their consistency.
It's actually been a pretty impressive night for the Queen City's receivers in general. It's just been Price has put them under some duress like that. Another throw that was thrown into double coverage, trying to ask. He's just tried to ask too much from some of his receivers. But again, he got some young players. I mean, Adrian Ellis is a 4 season with this ball club, 5 total. Xavier Knight's a rookie. Badette's first season, but he's only had 3 in the league. And Bob Wood's 2nd season with the team and the league. So it's still a really young receiving corps outside of James Matthew Jr. That's caught, and William McDowell, the former wideout himself, gets a catch there, and Price keeps it rolling.
Across midfield.
Another one, that's too big. Again, asking too much of James Matthew Jr. and Cody Griffin and Nicholas Frossell all over that one.
And again, Eric Price is having some completions go. Yes, he's getting some balls that are down the field to land. Yes, but he's not having a good night. He's hovering around 43% completion percentage.
Yeah. Drops back. That time found Matthew Jr. with a bit of space, and he's bumped out of bounds after a gain of 8. And there are definitely some positives to draw out of this game for Queen City. I don't think, again, this feels like stating the obvious, but the scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect the game we've seen today. It has felt closer in terms of general possession. It's just Minnesota have completed their scoring chances and Queen City haven't. But in terms of yardage, it's pretty much identical, both in passing and rushing. And there hasn't been a real lopsided turnover rate either. Price drops back. That's caught. Oh, no. Bravo broke it up. Physical contact from Johnny B. And that's another 4th down.
And they have to go for it here. I want to underline another difference between Eric Price's game versus Johnny Reno's. Eric has only found completions to 4 receivers. Adrian Ellis twice before he got taken out of the game. Joseph Bodette, Bob Wood, and James Matthew Jr.
Fake punt.
That's it.
That's incomplete. No. The punter, Ian Deegan, had a moment, but he couldn't find that Queen City player, and it's deflected away and incomplete.
If I'd have thought for a second that was anything other than another punt away, I would have wrapped up a little quicker there. I was surprised by that one.
What's the benefit over the last couple of seasons? We've seen more of that as we hit the 2-minute warning. We saw a fake field goal in the other game where Denver had tried to flick it into the end zone and had a wide open man that was incomplete. And saw a fake punt in this game that also was incomplete. And up the middle, Isaac Knox, that's going to pick up about 3, and the rookie should see this one out.
And to go back to that fake punt call for a second, I don't know about that kind of decision making. Deacon got hurt on a fake punt earlier this season. It just seems like a dangerous situation to put yourself in, and Queen City's been doing a bit of that too much this game for my liking. Eric's been throwing into tight windows all game long, just putting your guys at risk.
Williams up the middle. Justin Williams with a bruising carry. That picks up a first down, and Queen City, they're going to burn through the timeouts. And it feels like, that felt like the Portland-Houston game a couple of weeks ago, where Portland tried to fake field goal down on the goal line where they were down by quite a deficit. And that one just felt like they were trying something unorthodox from within the book just to see if it would work. So I kind of understand it. Williams with a second straight carry picks up 5. He's been strong towards the back end of the game tonight. And that's the final Corsair timeout.
And that'll pretty much put a bow on this one. All they've got to do is manage one more first down, and it's a very manageable one.
Middle, Reno passing is going to get sacked. Queen City got a second sack on the board. And that's another positive that's come of this. It's been a pretty good night for their line. Chad Stinson gets one. Emmanuel Petrilla, the 10th pick, or rather the 44th pick in the season 22 rookie draft, had a sack earlier, but this Queen City defense has got quite a few rookies on it. So Darshington, the outside lineman, he was taken in the second round. Petrilla was a second rounder. Casper Haddock was a first rounder. So it's still a very young roster that's starting to fight for, but they're still at 500 irrespective of the result tonight. They just haven't quite found their form on the road. They're a much tougher team to play at home. Reno handoff to the big man. Justin Williams is just bullying his way through this Queen City defense. And we should see a couple more plays before this one times out.
And he's finally having his way with them. I'll give some credit where it's due to Queen City. For the first 3 quarters, they were really effective at stopping the run for the most part. Only a handful were able to really break for 5+ yards. But this is, it's garbage time. They're already at this point kind of exhausted, the Queen City defense is. So it's not that surprising to see the big man just rumble forward.
Fortunately for Queen City, as we see Minnesota jump into the victory formation, the road doesn't get much easier. They get to go back home at the very least and will face the Alamo City Artillery, but they then face the undefeated Canton Classics in Week 9. As for Minnesota, they are remaining here for their next game. They take on the Seattle Nemesis, who dropped their second loss of the season today. That'll conclude it here at Northwood Stadium in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Legend have got the job done with a thumping 33-7 win over the Queen City Corsairs. This was Johnny Reno's night, and the Legend, they're going to walk away with a convincing win. And again, we saw tonight, Alex, one of the more impressive quarterback performances of the season 22 campaign.
No question about it. Johnny and Eric both having a bit of a duel, but Johnny's able to find his guys in space and is able to manage more consistent down the field movement, and it just kept them. They got in front early and they were able to hold that lead, and just never really felt in doubt past the third quarter.
It's a rough result for the Queen City Corsairs. Definitely some positives to take out of it. This young roster continuing to piece it together in season 22, but they at least get to go back home next week to face the Artillery, and the Legend will stay here in St. Paul to face the Nemesis in Week 8. We'll catch you tomorrow for this week in the SFL, and then San Diego facing Baltimore in what should be a really good Monday night spectacular brought to you by Cam and Charles. As for now, that completes a 6-game slate on an SFL Super Sunday. And again, we'll see you tomorrow night for the conclusion of Week 7.